I think it's very important for people inside and outside of ASF to understand that our roots, our genesis, was a science project.
There was going to be a whole new suite of synthetic aperture radar satellites that were being created in the 90s. And NASA needed, the United States needed, a downlink and processing facility for that.
And it was proposed by Jet Propulsion Laboratory and the Geophysical Institute of Alaska to set up a reception facility up in Alaska for these international satellites.
And so what they looked for is the place in the United States as far north as possible with good power and communication.
And that led to the formation of ASF as the Alaska SAR facility, Synthetic Aperture Radar Facility.
ASF started with a single antenna on the roof of the LV building.
There was the first antenna. Construction began in 1988, became operational in 1991, and it was purposed to support the European ERS-1 and the Japanese JERS-1 satellites.
Our second antenna system, which ironically is called AS-1, was built in 1995, and that was to support the ADIOS mission. ADIOS 1 and 2 were NASDA at the time, the Japanese Space Agency's missions, in collaboration with NASA.
It wasn't until 2003, 2004 timeframe that we put the ASF antennas into the Near Earth network. And then in 2013, we added a third antenna, also in the North Campus area, to basically ramp up to the capacity that NASA was now using us for. So by being able to put the load of many different polar orbiting satellites across 3 antennas, NASA was able to increase their capacity as well.
And currently we have 4 antennas, 3 operational, and 1 that's soon to be operational in AS4.
And that was put in specifically to support the NISAR mission.
So it's grown quite a bit from just that 1 antenna to multiple antennas and able to support many NASA science missions.
So for on the enterprise side, in late 2014, we were made aware of this facility out here off the Richardson Highway, and they had a 9-meter Viasat antenna system that they were going to give the university. Then the following year, 2015, that summer, we wound up putting in the 7.3 meter Viasat antenna, and that's how it all started for the ASF ground station.
And the enterprise is where we're seeing the most growth right now through the Geodata Cooperative and our contracts there with NGA. There is a lot of opportunity to provide change detection and SAR tools and analysis.
One of the important things about ASF is that it's able to support the NASA polar orbiting missions. And we have plenty of polar orbiting missions coming in the future. So we expect ASF to continue to be a vital part of the NASA's Near Earth Network project.
In addition to that, ASF has evolved in its services and data offerings to the science community.
The traditional model for what a DAC does has been very sort of a modular, sort of monolithic part of a very formal data stream. There was the mission team that would acquire the data, or a SIPS that would generate the data, and a DAC that would archive the data, and then users that would use the data. And now all of that is becoming much more fluid and integrated. It's just started. The mission and the DAC and the users are all coming closer together as as NASA sort of embraces open science and open data, and users want to have more of a say in what data is acquired and how it's acquired.
So for ASF, growth has meant thinking out of the box, trying to come up with new services, new ways to distribute data, new tools that will give users visibility into what the characteristics of the data are, and tools that allow users to work with the data locally on the cloud, which is where they are stored, as opposed to just downloading the data in its raw form and processing it locally.
The future of ASF generally looks very bright. There's big challenges coming up for ASF with some of the upcoming missions like NISAR.
And it's going to be a great challenge for ASF to provide that quantity, that volume, and that level of support to the whole world. We're capable of it, but we're very excited for that mission.
ASF will be distributing those data along with the Sentinel-1 data and other satellite data that they acquire. So it's really a very bright future with an enormous amount of data to manage and a growing, ever-growing user base to use those data.
And the ASF will play a vital role in supporting future NASA science missions, especially the polar orbiting missions.
I see a continuing relationship with NASA well in the future for another 20 to 30 years.